All right, so if you made me pick what I think is the best actual Strixhaven card, not archive, but actual Strixhaven card in Historic, I think it's definitely been Elite Spellbinder for me so far. Just like 3/1 flyer for 3 is like reasonable stat line. The disruption effect from this is very meaningful in setting both your control and combo opponents back a half step. Getting the information from looking at their hand is really powerful, as people that have been playing with Thoughtseize for years know. And honestly, the second best card out of Strixhaven for this format, I think it's probably Flamescroll Celebrant. Yeah, I think these are the two cards that have performed the best for me in Historic from this most recent expansion. This card's been super sweet. So like, it's a 2/1 for 2 that is fire breathing, so you can pump mana into it. And then honestly, the first paragraph flavor text here is super relevant in a lot of spots. Like your opponents, crack Fabled Passages, they activate Planeswalkers, and the nickel and dimes from this card add up very quickly. The back half of this, Revel in Silence, has a lot of utility in different spots in this format. So you can time walk control opponents or any fair opponents. You can also use it to basically counter things like Mizzix's Mastery and Emergent Ultimatum. So if you cast Revel in Silence in response to them Mizzix's Mastering or Sultai Ultimatuming, they don't actually get to cast the cards that they're getting with those effects, which is sweet because it stops them from casting spells till end of turn. We just got a lot of other good cards in the deck. We got Helix as a good removal spell out of the archives. Bonecrusher and Skyclave are good removal threat split cards. We've got Adanto Vanguard as a card that pressures and also a little bit sticky. We've got Chandra, Torture Defiance here as our primary source of card advantage. It's kind of like red-white, good stuff, mid-range here. One thing worth noting that's a little bit awkward is there aren't really any one-drops worth playing in these colors. We've got a few tap lands that we can do on the first turn of the game, but no one-drops is definitely a little bit sad. Let's see if our card quality deck here with a small amount of disruptions is reasonable to be competitive here, or if it feels like it struggles to keep up. Red-white cycle, and we do not, which is why I've got the 2, which is why I have a Jeskai Triome and a Mardu Triome. A good quick memory tool is if we have a fast land, we don't have a cycle land. If we have a cycle land, we don't have a fast land. We have the inverted cycles for these currently in Historic. Man, it is just mono Gandalfs this morning. It's a great draw. Gandalfs can't get out of Platinums, they just spin their wheels against each other all day. Yeah, basically. Memory lapse, not stellar against Chandra either, which is great. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Giant dragons blowing through ya. Please concede. Thanks. Lightning Helix comes out here. Honestly, I think some Skyclave Apparitions probably come out here. Maybe all of them even. A couple of Thalias, a couple of Mana Tithes. You're for cutting Skyclaves or you're for playing them? Playing? Really? Like, what are you tagging? Like, search for Azcantas? Why do I want Rip Apart? Instead of me telling you you're wrong, tell me why you're right. If you want to see just a card for my sideboard, tell me why it's good. Like, Baffling Ends and Caskets? Like, is that even really that worthwhile? Like, they don't play Casket, they play Baffling End, and, like, using this to get a 3/3 doesn't sound very exciting. And, like, in terms of hitting Planeswalkers, I'd rather just have Bonecrusher Giant, right? Yeah, I think you could make arguments for, like, this card, this card, this card, or this card being in my deck, but I don't think any of these cards are, like, better than the spells I'm currently have here. I think I'm happy with how we're boarded. Yeah, some of them play Cast Out still. Is Helix better than first Skyclave? I don't think so. Maybe. It is Reach. Sand is lovely. I think Standard was at its healthiest. I think my favorite Standard format in recent memory was GRN Standard, followed closely by RNA Standard. Or Acosta, thanks for the follow. Good afternoon. RTRN was also good. I agree with that. No joke. I think the only valid complaint for Brainstorm being an historic is that one right there. The fact that it makes that people tank while casting Brainstorm. Actual only valid complaint about the card. Is tank while Brainstorm. Tanking refers to taking a bunch of time to do something. It's a real shame we don't have a Planeswalker here to punish them tapping out. Hi from YouTube. Have you done Witherbloom Apprentice of Storm payoff yet, or have I missed it? We played it with Sultai Citadel Storm, the Lady Jack. There's one of those video of that up on YouTube. So this attack is basically me trading 4 points of life for them being able to scry to, and I think that's a good exchange for us. Hey, Mello, thanks for the follow. Good afternoon. There's really no reason to play Bonecrusher Giant here, right? Because they need to deal with the board as is. Explore resolves. It didn't, unfortunately, Dr. Mister. I don't think there's really anything of value that gets added to that deck. We'll get back to that one at some point, but mostly focusing on things that got upgrades in the meantime.
I know what must be done. Hurry.
Just sit on board. My favorite deck that I've played so far. I really liked Dead Guy Ale yesterday. Nah, the Mud deck would much rather play Thoughtseize and Duress. The matchups where that deck wants discard spells, Duress is better than Inquisition. I'm a big fan of like mid-rangey small creature decks. And Dead Guy Ale does that ideally. What's Mud? Mud is the artifact ramp control deck. If you're not in the subs Discord, we were chatting about other things I want to test in Dead Guy Ale in there. I forgot Blinkmoth Nexus was legal before I built Dead Guy yesterday. I think that's a card worth testing in there. Creature lands are really good in that style of deck. Found a good home for Sign in Blood. We have not. I think that deck's probably best in like something like a Black Devotion Shell, where you just get to like cast black spells consistently. I kept feeling like I wanted more lands in the Dead Guy Ale deck, but I didn't want to actually play more lands. So playing Blinkmoth as a land spell sounds like a perfect solution. Thank you. I think I want to try like a 26 land build with like 2 or 3 castles and 4 Blinkmoth. They ditched 1 bird here. Got plenty of Skyclaves though. So here's the thing that a lot of people don't consider, and people always do stuff like this. So the Dead Guy Ale deck that I played yesterday had a lot of, doesn't have a lot of colorless mana in its mana base, but you also don't have to cut lands for lands. So like, if you go back and look at the Dead Guy Ale list I played yesterday, we played 23 and 24 lands in it, and I said I would play 26 lands with Blinkmoth Nexus. So you're not cutting lands, and you're not going down on black and white sources to add Blinkmoth. You're just adding more lands to the deck. So that way you can cast your 3 and 4 mana spells more consistently. What you shouldn't do is you shouldn't say, Jeff, you can't play this land because of your spells. Your spells dictate your minimum thresholds for colored sources in your mana base. They don't dictate how many colorless lands you're playing if you're playing those colorless lands as extra lands. Rib Salad, thanks for the follow. Mutavault would be good. I personally, that Dead Guy Ale deck, really want Shambling Vents. I would snap off playing 2 to 3 Shambling Boys in that deck. Don't discard a second Phoenix. Have a heart. Don't do it. Don't do it to me. Blue Plain Creek, thanks for the half a year prime. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Rib Salad, thanks for the follow. Good morning. Sometimes lucky, Chad. Only one Phoenix in the top 16 cards. I would be a little bit concerned about adding Lingering Souls to this format with Faithful City. Oh, we're definitely gonna play Shambling Vent Sylvan Advocate decks on this stream. Yeah, Shambling Vent, Sylvan Advocate, Tireless Tracker. We're gonna lose a lot of rank points trying to figure that out when they're legal. Those are my mid-range mush jam, chat. Love me some Sylvan Advocate. Are there dragons, chat? I think we're just supposed to dragon them, right? They have Lightning Axe here, I get destroyed. The shock's pretty bad too. Is Shambling Vent a Pioneer? It is, yeah. Yeah, I've played a number of Pioneer decks with Shambling Vent and Sylvan Advocate. Yeah, it might have been right to Spellbinder that turn, as appealing as being resource efficient with Dragon was. That's a great draw. That's adorable, Vega. Mana Morphos will be a card that'll never be in this format. Easy prediction, Mana Morphos will never be legal. Man, that card's rude. They're gonna bounce our dragon here. They do have Spell Pierces, man. Kind of surprises me. I guess there's been a lot of combo in this format. I propose a compromise, Elvish Spirit Guide. We're gonna get Price Amalgam, right? Price Amalgam is Pioneer legal? You know what? I should Helix in response to this brainstorm. It's fine. Hey, congrats on being this close to graduation, Zach. Rest in peace, Thalia, Soul Guide, Lantern. Think of this as a Mana Tithe matchup. Reidane isn't amazing here. Trim a couple of Chandra at least because we're boarding in Thalia. I feel like I want to leave some of these because these are good at cleaning up the Phoenix tokens from Skyclave. Was there an announcement you missed? There was not. Just if you're newer or haven't been keeping track of what historic means for the game, we know that we're getting all of Pioneers coming to Magic Arena. So like cards that are in Pioneer, we know we're getting. Yeah, that Thalia artwork is was a Secret Lair artwork. We don't know what our next injection of cards is going to be yet, though. Hopefully they communicate sometime soon whether or not we're getting Innistrad, Shadows over Innistrad remastered this summer, or HA5. Although, based on how much lead time they gave us on HA4, there's also a real chance that they're just like, surprise! Next week is Shadows over Innistrad. Stalinsky, thanks for the 8 months of Prime. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I mean, they've been pretty consistent about updates to this format. We've been getting cards like every 6 weeks for consistently for a while now. Most assuredly a spell this game, I think. To be fair, Wardav, I think I would expect Historic to calm down now for the most part in terms of how much it will change card release to card release. Like, if I was a gambling man, and I play Magic the Gambling, so Magic the Gathering, the Gambling, Magic the Gambling, so very clearly I'm a gambling man, I would wager that Strixhaven will likely be the single largest power level increase that that we'll ever get to this format. Let's do the time warp again. Listen, chat, as the parent of 3 small children, I'm going to take a moment to revel in the silence, because that's not something I get to experience very often. That's a great draw. They have exactly 2 volume settings off and on. Yep, it's a good way to put it. I never realized how much I appreciated silence until I had 2 small children. Yep, big mood. Big mood. Auro's Charm resolves. Be very quiet. We're hunting phoenixes. That was sick. This deck might actually be good. This deck's like got a good selection. Just like the average card quality in this deck is very high. Like Reidane, the Flamescroll and Elite Spellbinder really give this deck the some interactive elements that like white doesn't usually get to leverage. Berdanis, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel this afternoon. Welcome everybody, by the way. It's really awesome to see almost 1,500 people in here for some historic. If you're a new viewer, thanks for dropping in. My name is Jeff Hoagland. I stream full-time here on Twitch. I do a ton of Magic. Historic is the primary format that I play. Usually I'm here doing 3 or 4 different decks every single day of the week. I also have a YouTube channel where everything worthwhile gets uploaded to. So if you want a great source of lots of different historic and occasionally standard deck lists, it's a great place to check out. Yeah, this is fine. Needs a 3rd land, but even if we brick, we've got 2 2-mana spells. So setting aside the fact there's probably no point in thinking about this, as Historic gets older, do you think Wizards will envision as a closer to a fair, well-managed Pioneers format, or do you think the format will go up in speed to approach Vintage / Legacy power level? So, one thing I think that a lot of people don't consider enough, Dr. Mr. Punny, is that bad mana, having bad mana means that the format is slower and less powerful than those other formats are ever able to be. The very virtue of the mana being worse in this format slows the format down and lowers its power level in comparison to historic, or in comparison to modern, vintage and legacy. Come on, untapped lands. Nailed it. Yeah, there's that comment that gets thrown around from a WotC person that, like, it'll float around that power level. But honestly, I think that power level is probably even kind of unrealistic. We take their creativity here, right? Left shift plus enter auto passes. Draven, thank you for the 28 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. By the way, if anybody's watching that was one of our 20 or so people that got prizes from the Open, and actually, I can count that out. I have 13... 9, 10, 11, 12. We had 25 people got prizes in the last Hoaglandia Open because we believe in a flat prizing structure. That's really annoying. I just got gift codes from my Cool Stuff Inc. person. Thank you, Evan. So you'll be having those in your DMs soon if you are one of the 25 people that won prizes. So follow Minidork. And by the way, if you're one of the people that would like to play in an upcoming Hoaglandia Open, our next one's going to be May 8th. It's a Saturday, and it'll be historic again. What percentage of the people that played in the tournament? I believe we had 115 competitors. So almost 25% of the people. Jeff sliding into people's DMs. It'll actually be my wife sliding into your DMs. She handles all the tournament organizer aspect stuff of the Open series. You do not need a webcam. In fact, even if you could send me a webcam, I wouldn't use it. You have to be able to share your screen. You cannot Skyclave tokens. Yeah, so I can't Skyclave this. played in the tournament, but I wouldn't say I'm a competitor. Okay, so they're gonna get to creativity as next turn. I assume they're a Torrential Gearhulk deck. Oh, they're the full-on combo deck. They just messed up. They miscounted. They targeted 2, but then one of the treasures got paid for it because of my thing. Yeah, okay, so they're not the Gearhulk build. They're explicitly this combo build. Okay, Jeff, but I do your whole tournaments in a fursuit in case you pick me for coverage. If I can't share my webcam, but what's the purpose of dressing up as a large porcupine? Asking the real questions. Alright, so Skyclave Apparition's actually useless here. Rip Apart's fine for killing the random treasures and stuff. Reidane is good. Spellbinder's good. Thalia's good. I mean, to be fair, most standard decks port to historic competitively. Like if you have a standard deck on Arena, we'd be happy to give you a hand porting that over to historic. Just ask in the subs Discord. Cycling, for example, is a deck that's super reasonable. Even Sultai Ultimatum has been seeing play. Abrade could be slightly better than Helix. I guess it does kill the tokens. I think Abrade's actually better than Chandra. She's kind of slow and clunky, especially with me bringing in Thalia. You play all limited? Sweet. Yeah, limited is definitely a great way to build your collection. Yeah, Rogues is also excellent. So this hand doesn't really have any disruptive elements, but it's just got like good threats that apply pressure, so let's do it. Opponent's deck isn't super fast. Flamescroll Celebrant does make cycling cost 1 life. That is an activated ability. Was that a good draw? If so, why? Please explain. So I think I'm actually going to wait a turn on this, not only because of effects like Censor, but if they have like a deal 2 spell here, I don't want to lose it. And I don't believe they can combo me until 2 turns from now. So I want to wait to play the Spellbinder until the turn before they combo me. Because they get a treasure token here, but they need 5 mana plus 2 treasure tokens, or they have the issue like they had last game. They can't spend mana from the treasure tokens to combo. These have to be targets for their things. Okay, and now next turn, my opponent could theoretically combo us if they have Indomitable Creativity. So we're gonna go ahead and play our discard spell here. Because I drew this tapped land, I'm going to elect to not play around Censor. We didn't see that out of them yet. Yeah, I think the turns dragon is super reasonable. Alright, so if I exile this, they can't cycle it. They can only hardcast it, right? So that seems great. If they top decked Indomitable Creativity here, we are dead. That's just how the cookie crumbles. Feels like we got top deck, chat. Just a dismissal, God bless. Like, did they draw it? Ooh, that's a nice one. Okay, so we stop this, and then we play Reidane here. Can we get Dead Guy Ale back in the queue? We definitely can, Beansy. Thanks for your support. You're great. Hoglandia's whales represent. Bacon Nation, thanks for the follow. Reidane means they can't combo kill us next turn, because they have to pay 7 plus have 2 treasures. Was that a good draw, chat? If so, why? Please explain. Man, I think this deck might be real. It's so weird playing a mid-range deck that has play against these combo decks that doesn't have black or blue in it. This one's been really sweet. Sick. Correct, yes, they are unable to cycle the Shark Typhoon that's exiled with Elite Spellbinder. That is correct. That's part of the reason why we took it. Need some lands, but we're on the drop. We're 26 land deck. Ooh, Elves is probably hard, I'd bet. Hopefully they're Gruul. I think Gruul's probably better for us than Elves. Sweet. No, my deck is full of creature smash. I don't think I want a sweeper in my deck full of creatures. I think our Spellbinder feels like Meddling Mage without playing blue. I'm not sure you've actually played Meddling Mage if you think that that's the case, Charizard James. Spellbinder is much better than Meddling Mage. Meddling Mage is frequently a Grizzly Bear that just dies, then you cast Grizzly Bear. Spellbinder is an evasive threat that it disrupts your opponent even if they kill it right away. It's much better than Meddling Mage. Like, Meddling Mage is a card I've basically never been impressed by. Spellbinder is very good. Yeah, Vendilion Clique's a better comparison. I agree with that. Really wanted to draw a 4th land there. They don't have Cleave mana, which is a saving grace here. If they brick for a turn or 2, we could have a real shot here still. So I'm blocking Burning Tree Emissary rather than Pelt Collector here because I'm going to cast Skyclave Apparition next turn. And I'd much rather my Skyclave Apparition exile Pelt Collector than exile the other one. I think we're dead. We really needed this draw to be a blank. We stumbled on mana too much. Man, just can't be top of their deck being that hot. Pretty happy with our decisions this game. Not really much we can do, and the opponent draws the nuts. Needed just like one bit of reprieve there. Just needed like one turn where they drew a land instead of a spell. And we were really close there. I think we just cut these and board in pieces of spot removal. It's been excellent, Arcade. This may or may not be good. I don't really like any of the other cards on my sideboard more than this, though. Hey, thanks for the Tiplicart. That's very generous of you. For a red-white Phoenix with Thrilling, Discovery, and Looting. Sounds good. Gonna bolt the bird here to start, I think. Land War Elf into Burning Tree Emissary, 2 out of 2 games. Opponent is definitely a professional role player. Maybe I should have saved that to potentially be a spell. Helix is very good. Because there's no reason to allow myself to potentially get blown out by something, Drew. If they're playing something random like Blossoming Defense, for example. I have no idea what the card you just named does, Ryushi, so I'm going to assume that means it's slow and bad. Cleave me, daddy. Deal. So deck submissions, what does story-driven variety mean? Those are single-player story-driven games. If you look in the queue, it's not just games. It's not just decks. There's also games at the bottom. So I'm putting my variety stuff on hold this week, but usually I do Magic in the morning and I do 2 or 3 hours of a variety game in the afternoon. Horizon Zero Dawn is very good. Yeah. Would Drannith Magistrate be a better sideboard card than Thalia? No, we're playing Thalia for decks like Phoenix and to make people sweepers cost more mana. The shield is really good here. I don't know about really good, but it's better than not, I guess. It's better than the other options I can play. Any tips for not getting completely dumpstered by Gearhulk Opus decks? Yeah, play something with counter spells. Why did I block? So I don't die to Stomp. What's the policy on Pioneer decks? I'm not playing Magic Online. Also with Historic being unique and awesome, there's no desire to play Pioneer until it's on Arena. We've got like a dozen plus Pioneer and Standard decks waiting to be played. We're done with Moto. Moto is a slow, clunky, and frustrating application. You're not sure what just happened there. So the way Trample and the Reidane shield work, my opponent doesn't have to assign damage that would kill my thing, basically, is the TLDR. They'd have to manually assign the extra point of damage. How many viewer submissions have I gone through roughly? I've been playing 4 to 5 decks every single day. Doogie, thanks for the 2/3 of the year. Welcome back. And this is, so Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday. We've done like 20 decks or so. Skyclave is real good against Pelt Collector. Feels like we might be getting Bonecrusher Giant, but that's fine. They're going to get back at 1/1. So opponent messed this up here. Now my opponent gets nothing. Good day. You get nothing. So. You lose. Good day, sir. This matchup seems a lot easier when my opponent doesn't play Land War Elf and then immediately Burning Emissary. Funny how that works. This is the Magic Arena background music, chat. I am actually going to make a piece of YouTube content. I think my top 5 Strixhaven historic cards. So look for that later this week on the YouTubes. Doogie, thanks for the 2/3 of a year. Welcome back.
Today's my lucky day.
Will it be a Rickroll? It will not.
Oh, this is gonna hurt.
Alright, we're done here. I guess I could draw Questing Beast. I'm gonna hang tight on the Bonecrusher Giant because they could draw Questing Beast. I've been really impressed with the backside of Reidane and Historic. It's super reasonable against a lot of things. It's excellent against Mayhem Devil. Yeah, this one's been good, Lampton. Oh, Lampton, if you didn't see it, I posted the Sultai Kefnet deck on the subs Discord last night. That one looks pretty good too. Hey, Leaf Blade Fighter, thanks for the sub gifts. Good luck in the rest of your laddering today. In the game design question, do you think the absorb, the keyword being reduced by damage X on absorbing sliver is too complicated? Nah, I don't think so. I think a lot of the other things have been similarly complicated, Lady Jack. How does one access the subs Discord? You can find the details on how to join right here on my website. Sand needs another land, but we're on the draw, so hopefully we'll find one. The deck queue too, if you're someone that doesn't want to make a donation for have me play a deck, but you'd so like my feedback or to talk to the people in the community about it too, I'm very active in the subs Discord. That's a little bit different than, I know other people have talked that they're always surprised when they find out that I post in my subs Discord. We have a very active community there for Magic and lots of other games that I am a part of. I think we've died, chat. Believe it or not, I think the one drop in the double BTE is going to be too much for Helix to overcome. We'll see though. Second Helix might. If they miss a beat here, we could be okay. If like they just like pass for the turn. They didn't pass, chat. They didn't pass. Alright, this needs to be a land and this needs to be a land. However, they've shocked this in, so that would surprise me if their existing card in hand is land. Untap land for us, so we can go Helix plus Flamescroll. Nope. Even with that, with Scavenging Ooze, I think we're too far gone. And again, like, if you're gonna play a non-rotating format like this, you have to just accept that there's gonna be games like that where you just die and don't have meaningful decisions or counterplay. That's not limited to just Gruul, it's everything. No, I don't think Containment Priest is a great card for this sideboard, Beansy. You want it for the Collected Company matchups? Maybe? I don't know. But Containment Priest is much worse than Thalia against the Phoenix deck. Because Containment Priest just dies to a removal spell, whereas if Thalia dies to a removal spell, she trades even on tempo, which is ideal. Thanks for the 23 months, Zazzy. Welcome back. And Crickfix, thanks for the follow. Good morning. Yeah, our decision there was how soon did we want to concede? And honestly, games like that are a good example of you shouldn't knee-jerk and change the deck that we're playing when your opponent wins the die roll and then has their nut draw. I'd encourage you to go back and watch the games that we've played so far today, Hidden Flames, if you're not sure what Flamescroll Celebrant does. Card is just a very good flexible card. It's arguably one of the best cards in this set for Historic. It does a lot in a lot of different places. How does blue-white control beat Skrull? They cast Wrath of God on turn 3 or 4 after winning the die roll. How many Burning Stream Emissaries this game? Just one. Yeah, this deck definitely uses every bit of the Flamescroll Celebrant Buffalo. And Reidane's even not terrible in matchups like this too, because she makes their cleaves and companies cost more. This girl's supposed to be without company now. A lot of people have been saying they prefer it without company, yeah. The version of Gruul that won the Hoaglandia Open this past weekend was playing no companies. And if you missed the Hoaglandia tournament and want to check out the coverage or look at deck lists, you can find those up on my website on the Hoaglandia Open series page. Pretty happy to trade these here, I think. Here on Todd's list from the open, and it's felt great. Sweet, Leaf Blade. It's an excellent draw. Again, I'm just doing these proactively so I don't get blown out by any weird cards. Any equity I'm gonna gain by waiting to play them with optimal sequencing doesn't really matter. Much lower upside than potential downside of getting savaged by something. All right, and then we just hope that they don't have, you know, elf into a bunch of burning trees on the draw. We're on the draw here. When we're making our mulligan decisions, game 3 here on the draw, we're going to be looking for a piece of removal in our opening hand. So, you know, Rip Apart, Abrade, Bonecrusher Giant, Helix. Now 100% cleaner. God bless. This one's been really good, Bob, so it's probably going to be about half hour, 45 minutes till we get to your thing. Till we get to Mardu. Mardu. This has been the best mid-range deck we've played so far in the format, for sure. It's felt very good. The more I learn about Magic, the more I've leaned my heuristic towards it's often correct to play removal at sorcery speed. Yeah, the small upsides you gain from playing at instant speed are usually worse than the downsides. Yeah, you know? And again, like, games like this doesn't mean I should change my deck. It just means, like, sometimes your opponent's very lucky. And that's just how Magic works. Making all of the right decisions and still losing is just part of life, chat. He put 8 power into play on turn 2 and we were on the drop. You should pay my actors better. Nah, I think they're illustrating the point quite nicely, actually. Magic's a high variance game, and you're gonna lose many games that are completely outside of your control. Just how it works. If they don't have another play here, we could have a chance. Okay, yeah. Their start was very good, but Lightning Helix, easily the best draw on our deck there. Okay, and they are on Collecting Company. Oh, and they're in the tank here, which means they have decisions. Yikes. It wasn't that they didn't have plays. Their draw was, in fact, just nuts. Yeah, we're just done on board to the Oasis, right? Hadn't seen Collecting Company out of them yet, but it would be in the historic channel, Poopy Donut. I also added it to the deck queue. There's a picture in the deck queue. A pile of wild cards, and I want to build the best historic deck. I think the best historic deck that's known right now is a toss-up between rogues or black-white auras. Both of those are very reasonable. Seems very reasonable. Speaking of, 2, 3, 4, solid curve here. They didn't have enough green to activate Oasis, right? Yeah, they had 3 green. They had 3 green and 1 red. They had Oasis, 2 green and a red. Man, we hit the girl part of the ladder, huh? Maybe they're playing elves. And actually, like I mentioned the first time we queued into Gruul, I'd actually rather play against Gruul than elves. Drown in the Lock Indy is definitely the card. The card that makes rogues go burr. Thanks for the follow, Jin Return. Good afternoon. Huh? I think it's this. I could be right to take this so they can't put 2 counters on these next turn. Didn't mouse you. I appreciate that. For Hollow Boy, red-white cycling. Sounds great. They definitely should have attacked with this, unless they have something to cast here. Alright, they do. And they do. Ooh, that was a great one. Goodbye, friend. They get a link for the list. I did, thank you. I think I'm supposed to go, so I don't get to gain life with this Helix, but I think this is better than like down ticking my Chandra and then like having the elves kill my Chandra. So, the important thing to understand why Helix doesn't gain life against Ferocity chat is that damage doesn't kill creatures, state-based actions do. And what this means is when Lightning Helix finishes resolving and says gain 3, Ferocity is still in play. The Ferocity doesn't go to the... God, fuck Gruul, man. Man, good lord. Just the Coco into the Burning Tree Emissary to also play the Voltaic Brawler from hand. Ugh. Am I supposed to plus or minus the Chandra? I think it's down tick and shield, yeah. Let me just like hope to draw a decent spell. And like we have Castle in play in our mana base, so like even if we brick off here a little bit, Castle's gonna give us something to do. Do I chump block the Voltaic Brawler with Skyclave Apparition this turn? That saves Chandra, right? Because, like, giving them a 1/1 doesn't matter with the Protector Shield in play. Okay, I think with the Burning Tree attack, I eat the Burning Tree, right? I think that's the play.
It's over when I say it's over.
Man, these have been just a brutal last couple of games. We just like get like one land out of these decks on just like any of these turns where we're close to stabilizing. Ah, can we draw a dragon? We have one of the best possible draws in our deck. They drew a land and it was Oasis. Well, this gives itself trample when it attacks too. Vomit. So this is 6, 9. You're thinking of Discord, Hidden Flame. Oh, actually, it does search them, doesn't it? Oh, but yeah, when you press enter, it gets rid of it. So you're right that the colon does search, but then it gets rid of it. Well, the only reason to attack with this is because they drew Cleave, right?
best fire starter there is.
I don't cast Collected Company. Don't do it. We held in there a while, considering how good their start was. Reidane's been worth her weight in gold. Super happy with the 3 copies of Reidane. Yeah, the shield's been really impressive so far in this set. Nah, Mana Tithe just draws dead really quickly. Mana Tithe there is like an anti-combo card. Anti-control card. I need my cards to be live and to play to the board in this matchup. No, opponent, I don't want you to mulligan while you're on the draw. I want you to mulligan on the when you're on the play so I have a chance. For any functioning Mana Tithe deck, I don't think Mana Tithe is a very good card in general. I think it's like fine if you're like in these colors like this and you don't have other ways to interact with combo or control super profitably, but in general that card's more of a cute getcha card than anything else. It's not a generically very good card. Yeah, I mean, you can add Mana Tithe to any deck you want and it'll be fun. But like from a pure, is it competitively optimal to play Mana Tithe standpoint, most decks no, is the answer. They have Bonecrusher Giant yet. Maybe I'm supposed to stomp my thing in response there, actually. That's probably the case. Get close in here.
Gonna hurt.
So they can't cleave even with a land because this costs 8. I don't think that card's very good, Scholar. We played, for reference, we played a Body of Research deck already today, and it just, like, was slow and bad in every matchup. Yeah. This deck's been excellent, Soldier Sui. Easily the best mid-range deck I've played in this format so far. Alright. We hope we don't get run over on the draw. No Burning Tree Emissary one-time dealer. And honestly, like, people who are concerned about, like, what you're putting your wild cards into, this deck's a really reasonable craft, I think, because if you look at the cards we're playing in this deck, they're, like, all just good Magic cards. Like, there isn't a single card in this deck that you won't use somewhere else, in multiple somewhere else's, honestly. Yeah, there's a bunch of standard legal cards in here, too. Tino Extreme, thank you for the brand new Prime support. There's a ton of great places you can send that every single month here on Twitch. Thanks for sending it this way this month. Skyclave's not amazing, but I have a Abrade on too, so go ahead and keep. Eldair, thanks for the follow. Alright, there's the elf. Do you also have Burning Tree Emissary? How's Thalia been? She's fine. It's like the definition of fine. She boards in against Control and against Phoenix. I know we've now hit Grawl twice in a row, but like, we've been playing against a ton of Control earlier today. I think I'm just passing. Feels like a Bonecrusher Giant. I prefer not to give them the 2-for-1. I mean, to be fair, our decks felt pretty good against Control, too. I should technically do this at end of turn. They're going to play their land out now because they no longer have the landfall creature. Yeah. Man, people keep messing this up, huh? Don't kill the Skyclave in response to the trigger, chat. You'll end up very sad. I'll do it again, I swear. Alright, we thought they had a stomp earlier, so I assume this is going to resolve and they're going to step on my Skyclave. The opponent's capable of learning, chat. Oh, Abrade, sure, that's much better than Stomp for us. When am I gonna do Strixhaven in drafts? Never. Actual never. It says, this is a constructed channel that occasionally cubes. Because cube is sweet. I'm gonna play the untapped land here, because on the off chance they have Collected Company, I want to be able to Helix plus Pump. I agree that our opponent's game plan here of having a bunch of removal spells is not good for them. This is definitely a game. This game's definitely playing out. What's the difference between Cube and Draft? Cube is much higher power level. The average Magic limited format like Strixhaven is a lot of weak cards bumping into each other and board stalls. I don't enjoy Magic as a low-powered game. Yeah, sets like Modern Masters or specialty sets that are custom sculpted to be higher powered level, those are fine. Wow, did you collect a company this turn? We might lose this game because we floated out here. Opponent boarded pretty poorly here, but we've just got a bunch of lands. Yeah, the fact that I've drawn this many lands and I've had zero Shatterskull Smashings and I've had zero Shatterskull Smashings and zero castles. If we had a castle here, we'd be in a decent spot. Not out of it yet, but slowly slipping away. So we've drawn half of our non-utility lands. So I have 2 castles, and I have 4 Shatterskull Smashings and 26 lands. And now, like, lands are good and spells are good for them, so probably dead at this point. This deck's been really good, Art Large. This and Dead Gael were both great. Elite Spellbinder's been fun. Ember Cleave. We didn't get cleaved. Their deck broken, and this is a spell, right? Because they didn't play a land. All right, that was the best. This was the best draw possible for us here. Think I'm supposed to do this. Oh, they drew the cleave this turn. Alright, let's play some Dragon Reanimator. This deck's been very good, but I'm just like fucking sick of getting peeled on by Gruul while we flood and die. So this is easily the best mid-range deck that I've played in the format. I like it a lot, and honestly, I might consider playing this deck in the 5K I'm playing on Saturday, but like draws like that are gonna happen, right? And honestly, the variance there is even worse than I thought at a glance, because I forgot I had 2 cycle lands. So like this deck's only playing 22 lands, because these don't count as lands in that summary, and 4 of them are utility lands. So that game, we managed to draw 10 of these 18 lands that offer no utility in 16 cards. So, yeah. I feel like the standout card for me in that set was actually Reidane, or more specifically, the Valkyria Protector's Shield. This effect was really excellent in a number of the games that we played, and the close games that we won against Gruul were on the back of this card a couple of times. The flexibility of Spellbinder still continues to be good. Bonecrusher and Skyclave are excellent, like, interactive pieces that are also threats. Chandra, honestly, like, that's kind of the theme of this deck if you look at it, right? Like, Bonecrusher, Skyclave, Chandra, Glorybringer, these are all cards that are threats, but they're also cards that can kill the opponent under the right circumstances, and that kind of flexibility felt really, really good. Adanto Vanguard was a great sticky threat, and this card was good on both sides. If you missed that entire set, we had a game against Blue-Red Phoenix where we like time walked them twice in a row where we had threats in play with Revel Silence. Yeah, just like every card in this deck is just like a reasonable Magic card. I liked it a lot. If you're looking for a sweet mid-range deck, I think this is definitely one worth poking at. You can kind of, honestly, I don't even know, like, usually I like to talk at the end of like call out cards that I think are like things you could optimize or tune or play with. I don't even really know that I have those in this deck. Like, maybe you could experiment with Adanto Vanguard and other threats, but this card was very reasonable. Like folks said in chat, basically every card we're playing is good. And like I said, pretty happy with it overall. Why not 4 Rest in Peace to the sideboard? Because Soul Guide Lantern, it does a similar job to Rest in Peace in a lot of the graveyard matchups. And I really don't want to draw multiple copies of Rest in Peace. So like, you know, in the graveyard matchup, if I draw a Rest in Peace and a Soul Guide Lantern, I can cantrip this and find another useful card with it. All right, let's reanimate.